Okay, I believe this is Shir number 48 that we're doing. L'schus Rachamirim B'Shendel. A reminder again to give tzedakah and those that judge join now and to say a kapitel Tilim. Today's Shir is going to be dealing with also about the topic of Bitachon, but as it is in relation to this week's parsha. This week's parsha tells us all about the in of Shidduchim. And that's often a conflict and challenge that we have, how to resolve the in of Bitachon with the Ishtadlus when it comes to Shidduchim. Often people are very worried, whether parents are worried about the child's shidduchim or children are worried about not having the shidduchim. Of course, they understand the idea that shidduchim are min hashamayim, but often we don't take into account the fact that it's not only the general shidduch is min hashamayim, but that the shidduch was prepared thousands of years before. In other words, we have the concept of a baskel coming out 40 days before the child is formed, which we're aware of. But there's also a Maimon Chazal that the whole entire world was created just to be an accompaniment for me and to help me in my life. In the words of Chazal in a Mishnah, that every single Yid chayav Adam Leimer. Chayav means it's not just a nice thing, it's a special madrega. Chayav, it's an obligation to say, Bishvili nivra olam, the entire world was created for me. So if there's a shidduch, if my shidduch, the whole world was destined in such a way that my shidduch should come, or my child's shidduch should come, in the time that he has to come. The Eibishter arranged that this girl or this boy should be around. The Eibishter arranged the parents. The Eibishter arranged the food this child should have. The Eibishter of my shidduch. The Eibishter arranged the meisid. The Eibishter arranged the friends. The Eibishter set up the personality and all the details and the chemistry and everything all way before. And all the whole structure of the world was designed in such a way that it comes a time I should find my shidduch. We often think, yeah, but this shatchan is not a good shatchan, this shatchan, and my parents are messing up my shidduchim, or my child is messing up their shidduchim for themselves, or these people are saying not nice things about me, they don't know what I want, all that kind of stuff. So we start thinking about all the people that are there and harming, which is a general issue when we lacking the Emunah of Ani Mammon, Emunah Shleima, Shvula Vadei Osav Yosav Yasel L'chol HaMasim. The Eibishter runs the world, particularly shidduchim, as we'll get to in a moment. So the fact that there's people out there, as we mentioned in previous classes, the reason why if a person is angry, it's like he's doing avodah zarah, because he thinks the other person is messing things up for him. Which is not true, because everything is coming from Hashem, and Hashem has his plan exactly the way he wants his plan to be. The person is being punished if he harms me because he has free choice. But in regards to me, there's no choice. Hashem wants exactly what should happen to me, it should happen to me. So if we take that perspective and we stop thinking about all the human beings and all the thoughts, and even my own thoughts are messing up my life, all that kind of stuff, and recognize that it's all from the Eibishter, that helps our bitachon when it comes to the in of shidduchim. But in addition, this is true about everything. In addition to the koyach of the Eibishter in every single inyan and running the world, is a particular baskel, a heavenly voice that announces min hashamayim who the shidduch will be. We don't say this, that there's a baskel that says who your employer will be, a baskel that says who your chavrusa will be, but there's a baskel that says exactly who should be your destined shidduch. And that baskel is there for a purpose. The baskel is giving us a voice telling us this is coming down into us, and allowing us to choose our shidduch. The Gemara tells us that me'ashem ish ish, the concept of a shidduch is all from the Eibishter. In other words, it's more from the Eibishter than anything else. We have hardly any choice. Our choice is very limited. There is a concept of shemi kadmenu acher, that someone else could chap ois your shidduch. As the Gemara says, that means berachamim. That doesn't mean that another person could take away your shidduch. If he davens very, very hard, maybe then there's a possibility, and even that is extremely limited. We'll talk in a moment about the various different opinions. What does that mean? That there's some type of effect that could happen on the Gzeirim and Hashemayim and Shidduchim. In this Gemara, when it says that Ma'ashem Ishal Ish, the Gemara says, it brings three psukim. Min HaTorah, Min HaNeviim, Min HaKsuvim. It says in the Torah that Shidduchim are from the Eibishter. Like it says in the pasuk in this week's parasha, Ma'ashem Yotza Hadavar Leinuchel Daber Lecha Rai Toiv. Lovin and Besuil said it's all from Hashem. We can't say anything about this. It's in the Nevi'im, it says, Benegei to Shimshon Shidduch with a Isha from Plishtim, a woman from the Plishtim. Va'avi v'imay lo yadu ki me'Hashem hu hadavar. His parents didn't know this all came from the Eibishter. And then there's a min haksuvim, it's a pasuk Mishlei. Nachlas bayis, hoim va'avis, me'Hashem isha maskelis. The fact that I have a smart woman, a smart wife, a godly wife, is all coming from the Eibishter. So the Mefarshim asked the question, everything is Hashem. You need to bring me 3 psukim to prove your point. And this from the Hashem, that's the fundamentals of Emunah. Like we said before, the very first Ani Mammon. Hashem does everything. Why do we need psukim? So there's one word that people say, famous word that Welt says, Hashem Ishalish. No, this is the only place that you realize it's Hashem. Everything else comes from Hashem. You don't necessarily realize. It comes to a Shidduch. You see, everything that happened about the Shidduch, it's all from the Eibishter. And as we say in the Nuscha Betznaim, we have a deal, a contract that's written up by the 2 parents, and it says, the following parent, Oim Mitzad HaChassan, and the following parent, Oim Mitzad HaKala. So, famous Chassidish word, Oim Mitzad means the one who stands on the side of the Kala. But there's a deeper pshat, Oim Mitzad. The parents supposed to be standing on the side. Leave it all up to Hashem. The kids tell it to the parents also, sometimes also, you stand on the side. But Oim Mitzad, du stehst on the side. You can't not call it. We can only mess things up sometimes. It's all from the Eibishter. You can actually see it's from the Eibishter. But Reb Chaim Vital in his Sefer Eitzadas Toiv writes, on this Ma'am Chazal Me Hashem Ish Ol Ish, he says, that this pasuk, this Gemara wants to tell us that this is the only, this area, there's no Bechira. Bechira doesn't work. Me Hashem Yotza Dava, what does it say in that pasuk? Lo nuchel davar le'rechadat toiv. Zok the Rashbam, lo habinim v'lo hastira. We can't make it better, we can't make it worse. Bal karchenu, against our will. This is all loibir tzeinenu, has nothing to do with what we want. The same thing with the pasuk of Shimshon. The Gemara says Shimshon was punished that he married a Plishtim woman. The Gemara Hashem, we just said to Kim Hashem, it was from Hashem. Because he went after his eyes. Because he chose that. But even though it was from the Eibishter, so this shows you the idea of Shidduchim. You get to choose, but it's really all planned in advance of the Eibishter. And the third pasuk is Hashem Isha Maskeles. A person could think, Meil, if I have a rich wife, or a poor wife, or poor rich, or husband, a poor husband, whatever, that I understand. It's all from the Eibishter. But Yiras Shamayim is in the hands of a person. Hashem, Isha Maskeles, even the fact that she Isha Maskel, she's Yiras Shamayim, the Eibishter structure, the Shidduch should come that way that you should find this Yiras Shamayim. It's all from the Eibishter. And as Chazal tell us, that what does Hashem do since he finished creating the world? He created it all in 6 days. So what is he doing now? He's out of a job, he's unemployed. So the Mendesh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yoshem is Avik Zivugim. All the Hashem since then busy making Shidduchim. 3 hours a day the Eibishter spends on making Shidduchim. Pretty heavy involved Shatkin. And when he makes a Shidduch, it actually happens. It's not like the famous Roman general who tried to make all the Shidduchim and every one of them failed, and there's so many stories like that. The Eibishter makes it to be exactly how it's supposed to be. What's our Bechira? So, Mefarshim, there's different opinions. There's the Choykrim, the Mekubalim, and I'm not going to go through all the different shittas. Bechira is, the Eibishter made the Shidduch. You can decide if you want to get married or not. So, they can't force a person to get married. Man or a woman in the halachas, you're not allowed to marry a person only with their own will. So that's your Bechira. Or even sometimes a person's tefillah could arrange and take away a Shidduch. A lot of Mefarshim say, but it's not going to last. Eventually the Shidduch will come back to you. So that's another thing. Or it's like mazel. Mazel means that even if you don't have the proper mazel, if with schusim you could change the mazel, and even when you do have the proper mazel, you need some type of tefillah, some type of pula to have the mazel come down. Ban l'chaim mezoyla, lav b'schus tali elo b'mazel tali, but you need still some type of schus. I want to share with you a vart on this week's parsha, which highlights the idea that we're talking about. Last week's parsha says that after the Akedah, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Avraham Avinu was told that Rivka was born. As Rashi explains, he got Min Hashamayim news that Rivka Yitzchak Shidduch is ready there. This is brought down in Rashi earlier in Vayera. Rashi later in Parshas told us, based on the Medrash. Famous question is multiple answers. Not going to go through all the answers. If Avraham Avinu knew there's a Shidduch called Rivka, why is he sending Eliezer on a mission and trying to search for a Shidduch? We know exactly who the girl is. We have Ben Hashamayim. We got a special message, Ben Hashamayim. Rivka is the Shidduch. So there's a bunch of different answers to that question, and like I said, I'm not going to go through all of them. But the key idea of a lot of these answers is that you could have an avum and a shamayim, you still got to do what you got to do. And it's negeh for Yitzchak and Rivka themselves, they should see that the whole ishtadlus worked out the way there was a b'surim and a shamayim. Negeh for love and a b'sul, etc. You have to act b'derech hatev as if you don't know what's happening in the Shamayim. Rabbi Feinstein once said on the Gemara, 40 days before, there's a baskel. Says, what does the baskel help if you don't hear the baskel? A baskel only works if you heard it. Because when you're standing by your chuppah, you need to know, you're not only Mekayim the mitzvah of Pru Revu, of marrying a woman, you need to know you're also Mekayim that you're listening to the command of Hashem, you should marry this girl. Because Hashem told you a baskel. You have to believe as if you just currently heard the baskel. The side of Shalom Bayis is that people don't believe that this is their baskel. If they would hear every single moment in their life a baskel in their ears telling them, this is your shidduch, 40 days, they think, maybe it's not my shidduch, maybe this, maybe that, and that's why people get divorced. Now, if a person doesn't believe it's min hashamayim, the structures things in such a way also. Avram Avinu went to search for a shidduch, even though he knew that this is min hashamayim. Avram Avinu is teaching us you're supposed to act as if you didn't hear baskel. The difference is he heard the baskel, we don't hear the baskel. We do the same exact thing. He acted b'derech hateva, we acted b'derech hateva. But just like in his case, we know in advance that he was told to us. We just happen not to be told. It actually says that in the pasuk that Lavan Absul said, "Hinei Rivka lefanecha kach v'lech." Here's Rivka. "V'si isha leben adinecha shall be your wife kasher diber Hashem." What do you mean kasher diber Hashem? Where did Hashem say this? According to some Mepharshim, there was a planned. Either it was the general baskel or the fact that Avraham Avinu specifically told Ben Hashemayim, Rivka is the shidduch. So this is something that happens to every single one of us. This is all Dvar Hashem. Everything that happens by Hashgacha Pratis is Dvar Hashem. There's a Maimer of the Alter Rebbe, the Balatani, the Alter Rebbe writes that in Shidduchim you find things that are Hepech HaSeichel. All Shidduchim, he writes, Nigmorim al-Adei Ta'os HaSeichel. Al de shkarim, al de emunah, people were deceived. There's lies. The shatan of getreit, the hair getreit. Even the chasna kal themselves sometimes are not exactly 100% honest in how they people get dressed properly to go see a boy or a girl. What do you mean? They should see you the way you are. So we cover up. We don't share everything about ourselves. Zog the Alter Rebbe that since shidduchim al l'mayla ma'aseichel, they come from such a high place. Mislabish b'lamata man haseichel has to come down to something which is lower than seichel, umenagid la-seichel, and against logic, v'tos asechel, things that are mistakes, v'ayna v'sheker. A shidduch is like kriyas yamsuf. That's what the Gemara says. Well, that means it's hard. There could be difficulties, and people shkoyek you find difficulties. The Eibusha finds difficulty. Kasha for the Hashem, it's hard to do it like kriyas yamsuf. To unite a zacha with an akeva, olam the tchuru, alma the nukva, and the united media, it's two opposite things. It needs a special koyach man Hashemayim l'mayla ma'asechel. So you're finding it hard. Honestly, it's hard, but that means you have to try again and again, like the Gemara says, you have to try. A person has to look for a shidduch like looking after something you lost. You don't sit with your hands folded and say, it's all min hashamayim. I lost something. I lost my phone. You can look for it. You'll find it. If you didn't find it, where did you put it? Okay, maybe it's here. So go look over there. If it's not over here, maybe it's there. You have to look for it. Like Kriyas Yamsuf. And it's Kriyas Yamsuf happened. This also happened. It's a mess. It's a mess min hashamayim. But the Yidden went to Kriyas Yamsuf because they had Emunah and Bitachon. They trusted Hashem. It's like Kriyas Yamsuf that we also have to have Emunah and Bitachon. There could be the Mitzrayim in front of us, the Midbar on this side and that side of the Yam. It's going to happen. And when you walk through, it's a breeze. And there's Nissim, and there's trees, and fruit, and birds singing. Everything happens. So Levi should find the Shidduch, Shal Teva Mitzlachas, and only Besudas Tevis for Klal Yisrael.